And when the father dies, what is uh, uh, what the impact of that is, or what the outcome of that is, are those two male archetypes, right? The sort of spineless, can't stand up for himself, caught up in the hollowness of modernity, right? I mean, Edward Norton's characters, the famous scene of him sitting on the toilet, ordering from, I think, IKEA.
Yeah, yeah.
This line of like that's like the amalgamation of his identity. That's who he is, right? This sort of like IKEA man. And then this sort of beautiful juxtaposition of Tyler Durden, who really is his shadow, right? Like that's his shadow, and is the embodiment of everything that he's not. And you can see in our culture and society today that those two archetypal men are everywhere. They
Mm,
are fucking everywhere, and
right on.
it's why that movie was so powerful, and so powerful still, like 20 years later, is
Absolutely.
that not much has changed, because the decay of the father, the decay of the archetypal father happened, decades ago. And
Mhm.
I think we're just reaching this place where, you could maybe make a case that he's almost entirely dead. That within our culture, the archetype of the father, the one that holds the fabric of truth and order and
Mm,
structure and what is right and
mm.
the direction of where you can go as a man, none of that really exists anymore.
Do you think
It's
it's the demonization of the patriarchy? Is that where it's gone in
Yeah,
reverse?
I think part of it is the rise of more authoritarian figures. And
Mhm.
it's not a comment on Trump. It's just that
Right.
that has become, you look at the Andrew Tates of the world, they are more, um, they're almost completely devoid of any type of empathy. Right. And that's what happens with Tyler Durden, is that the other guy, the narrator, is this sort of very meek, weakened man, because he's been hollowed out by modernity that has told him that your highest value is to just produce and consume, right? Produce whatever it is that he does in his job, crunching numbers, and then consume in return, and that's your highest form, that's your highest value as a man.
Right.
And Tyler Durden's character is the antithesis of that, right? He's the rebel. He's the burn it all down, be completely arrogant, don't give a shit about other people, and bring your primal nature back online with such ferocity that it's undeniable and unignorable. You cannot ignore it. So in our culture now, what you see is a lot of men filtering into those camps. You
Mhm.
have the men who don't have aim, they don't have direction, they're very confused, they can't stand up for themselves, they can't stand up to women, they don't have a voice to express what they need, what they want, they don't even really know what they need or they want. And on the other side of that, you have hostility and aggression and frustration and anger and like F it, burn the system down. And that's what happens when the archetypal father collapses. And I think in many ways, love him or hate him, this is why Jordan Peterson, for a period of time, had this like meteoric rise into the public space.
Right.
It's because he embodied for many people the cultural archetypal father figure, right? He stood for order. He stood for structure. Again, whether
Mhm.
or not you agreed with him or like him is not the point. It's that from an archetypal standpoint, he was filling a void that was so felt by the men of the culture that immediately everybody flocked to him.
Uh-huh.
Immediately. Because it was
Mhm.
like, oh my God, and I think it was funny because for a lot of people, it's like, why is this guy so popular? He's telling people to stand up straight and like make your bed and the stupid shit. And it's like, well, that's how void of masculine energy and fatherly energy the average man actually is. That's how devoid our culture is, our society is, and the average individual man is. Like 1 in 4 kids are going to grow up in America without a father present in the house. 1 in 4, right? 25%. And when you look at the data, that disproportionately affects young boys and young men, like
Mhm.
way more than it affects young girls
Mhm.
because they then lack any type of vision of direction, of an aim of who they can become as a man. And so I think we need a new story.